amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a fantastic Big Finish review. And of course, I'm reviewing the entire whole saga of Once and Future, which is told over 8 stories through Big Finish to celebrate 60 years of Doctor Who. And is this saga a hit or miss for me? Well, I'm going to tell you that towards the end of the video, because I've already reviewed 3 of these stories. I'm going to be honest with you all, but yeah, I've already reviewed like 3 stories, which is basically Past Lives, The Artist at the End of the Universe, well, the End of Time, and A Genius for War. And then as I literally got listened into it, I had nothing nice to say about certain of the other stories in this set. I mean, there's some stories I quite enjoy. There's some lines from some really good actors who have played the Doctor. And I just don't connect with this series as I thought I was going to. Now, it took me a while to get the last story because I didn't know my thoughts would be on the... I think it's called Cobra, the final act, where you have the fugitive Doctor meeting the War Doctor, which I'm not really too interested in that one, but I do have my own thoughts on the whole series. So, the whole point of this series, the Doctor has been hit by a degenerated weapon, so it makes him degenerate into past incarnations. Now, this was my first introduction to Stephen Noonan, and again, it kind of made me want to go and get my own box set of his, which is why I got Fugitive of the Daleks, which I've already reviewed for you guys. And yeah, okay, Michael Troughton makes his debut in this. I think he makes his second debut for Big Finish, because he's in these audios as the Doctor is degenerating through past incarnations. Trim to Law does this, but he's not a big part of it. You just kind of hear little bits and dabs of his voice and stuff. And then, of course, you've got Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Seth MacFarlane, and Paul McGann. And then somehow Chris Ferguson and David Tennant join in. And it makes no sense because halfway through the series, I kind of lost the plot. I'm still listening to it. It just makes me feel like, what the hell is this supposed to be about? The Doctor has been hit by a degenerated weapon, but he's still regenerating into future incarnations, which it just really bugs me in a way, because when this was announced, I thought I was going to love this. And this was announced back in 2022, 2023, before the 60th anniversary. And I thought I was genuinely going to love it. I really thought it's going to be a big anniversary specials, like the 60th anniversary specials, with David coming back as the 14th Doctor. But it doesn't stand out to me like the 60th anniversary specials. It doesn't really stand out to be really great in my way. Now, I've already reviewed 3 of these stories, but the rest of them I haven't reviewed, because the more I was writing down my notes, the more I realised it's like this. It just takes like a little bit of a biscuit. It does take the piss of a biscuit, really, because some of it makes no sense to me, where a majority of it does make sense to me. I mean, the past Doctors makes more sense to me than having 2 future Doctors coming in. Again, I did enjoy Time Lord Immortality in a way, because that is just a good one. So yeah, the Doctor, as I said, has been hit by a degenerated weapon, and of course, the first audio is Past Lives. Again, you've got the Doctor re-meeting with Sarah Jane Smith after the Hand of Fear, after she's been picked up by the meddling monk. We have Kate Stewart and Osgood from The Day of the Doctor. So this kind of takes place after the events Day of the Doctor for them, I think. But I did enjoy the audio. Now, Rufus Howard's is really good as the monk. I do enjoy him as the monk. I have listened to the Rise of the New Humans with Chim Talor as the 3rd Doctor. He's really good in that one. I have got some other ones to listen to with the meddling monk, but yeah, I did enjoy the audio, but there's not much I can really say about it because I've already said it, which is absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, the Doctor does regenerate into, at the end of the story, his next thing, well, back into a past Doctor. And then, of course, we have one where we meet a future Doctor with a degenerated Doctor, and of course, I'm talking about the Artist at the End of Time. So this one's really good because Colin Baker is playing the creator, aka from the Great Gallery that we saw Tom Baker play in the 50th anniversary. And of course, it does have Jenny in this, aka the Doctor's daughter, which makes a way, it does kind of make sense why Jenny's there, because she does meet her past dad's lives, because the Doctor is her dad through the genetic machinery from the Doctor's daughter. But yeah, I did quite enjoy this audio. It's definitely one of the weak ones for me, but I did enjoy Colin Baker and Peter Davison's introduction with these two characters, like the Doctor and the Creator. I did enjoy it. So then, of course, the 3rd story is, of course, A Genius for War, which is my favourite audio of the series. Yes, this is definitely my favourite one. So the Doctor has degenerated into his 7th persona, played by Sylvester McCoy. And of course, he's pulled into a kind of a mission for the Time Lords to go and induct Davros, played by Taylor Malloy. So, of course, it's quite nice to see the return of Ken Bones as the General. Now, Ken Bones I have met in person, and I'm back in September. And, of course, he does play the General in The Day of the Doctor and, of course, in Hell Bent. I also have to admit, this is literally my favourite one because the Daleks on this one, again, you have much of the Time War stuff in it. So, even though the series is set around about the Time War with the Doctor being hit by a G-generated weapon, this is more of the Time War side of things instead of, basically, a story that has nothing to do with it. I mean, the first two stories are okay, but A Genius for All is definitely my favourite. I do like Taylor Malloy, and Sylvester McCoy is still brilliant as the Doctor in this one. Now, the Doctor has no companion in these audios with McCoy, but I love the fact how you just got the Doctor and Davros. You don't need a companion for that. And it shows the depths of the Time War affecting Davros in a way as the Doctor does. Next, of course, is Two's Company. This one sucks. I'm not a fan of this one. This one, it kind of makes no sense to me. Why do we have the Sixth Doctor meeting Jackie Tyler and Lady Christina de Souza? Yeah, I like Harry being there because that makes sense, because Harry did travel with the Fourth Doctor, so it's literally the Sixth Doctor meeting a past companion. But meeting two people from his future makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I just can't get enough of it. I mean, Lady Christina de Souza, she's very okay. It's Michelle Ryan. She's really good in the role, but there's not much I can say about the story because I don't connect with it. I mean, I do like the Harry and the Doctor talking after, of course, this is the Doctor 2 generations after, in a way. Well, it's a bit hard to explain because he has been hit by a degenerated weapon. So it is quite an interesting way. I did enjoy it, but it's definitely one of the weak ones for me of the series. Next is the Martian invasion of Planetoid 50. So the Doctor has degenerated into his 10th incarnation, which makes no sense to me, as basically the Doctor is in his future, and this is the Doctor in his past, degenerating into past selves. I just don't care for it. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's nothing to do with David Tennant. David Tennant is quite good in this one. But it just kind of makes no sense to me. Why the hell do we have the 10th Doctor in this series when it's supposed to be the Doctor flicking through past regenerations as he's degenerating? And then, of course, somehow he just pops in with the 10th Doctor. Of course, Michelle Gomez is in this one as Missy. I do quite like their introduction. So it's quite nice to have a story with the Doctor and Missy. We do have the Panosta gang in this audio as well. We have the return of Madame Fastra, Jenny and Strax again. I don't know how to say it because this feels much like a Capaldi audio or a Matt Smith audio, 11th or 12th Doctor audio. The 10th Doctor just makes no sense because this feels like a Moffat-y story. Because you've got Michelle Gomez as the Master, aka Missy from the Moffat era, the Panosta gang, the Moffat era. But yeah, it just makes Davidson kind of feel a little bit odd out. And I'm sorry to say that. I know some people have said, oh, I love the Martian invasion of Planetoid 50. And I'm there going, why? Is it just because David Tennant's in it and I'm not a 10th Doctor fan? I prefer David Tennant as the 14th Doctor more than the 10th Doctor in a way. Yeah, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Why is the 10th Doctor in this audio series about the Doctor degenerating after being hit by a degenerated weapon? And of course, he just regenerates into his 10th incarnation. It makes no sense whatsoever to me. Next, of course, is one that I did enjoy, but again, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. So it's called the Time Lord Immortality. So this is basically Christopher Eccleston meeting with another universe version of the Doctor, not our universe. He meets an Unbound Doctor played by David Warner. I haven't listened to any of the Unbound stuff, so this is my introduction to David Warner playing a incarnation of the Doctor, which is very interesting because I do like David Warner. I think he was really good in quite a few of the characters he plays in Doctor Who, because he has played a character in Cold War, and then of course he played quite a few characters in one of the best eras of Star Trek as a franchise, because he played a Cardassian. He also played quite a few other characters as well. But yeah, this one makes no sense to me because, again, as I said, with the 10th Doctor, the Doctor has been hit by a degenerated weapon. So it kind of makes no sense why the 9th Doctor is kind of there. It really, again, it just makes no sense to me whatsoever why the 9th Doctor is there, where basically it would make more sense if it was David Warner with Trim to Law. So it would have been a 3rd Doctor meeting an Unbound Universe Doctor. That would have been more interesting for me, not basically Chris Eccleston. I know some people say, oh, I thought you liked Chris Eccleston. Yes, I like him. But when you are doing a series about the Doctor degenerating into past incarnations, it just makes no sense. Why have the 9th and 10th Doctors in these audios? Surely the Martian invasion of Planetoid 50 will make more sense with it being a Michael Troughton or a Stephen Noonan audio, and then Time Lord Immortality. I should say. It should have been more of a 3rd Doctor audio. It feels more like a 3rd Doctor audio, but the 9th Doctor is just kind of there. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever, and I'm sorry to say that. It's literally one I do try to enjoy. I enjoy it for the whole basic conversation between the 9th Doctor and the Unbound Doctor, which I really did enjoy. But yeah, I just don't get why 9 and 10's in this audio drama. I really don't get why it's in this series. Then, of course, we have one that I actually did enjoy, and of course, it's called The Unicorn, where we do have Paul McGann in this. We've got Carol Ann Ford, and of course, we've got River Song in this. And then, of course, you got the return of Tom Baker since past lives. Now, this one, I absolutely do enjoy, because it does make sense for the 8th Doctor meeting River Song, because in the audio side, the 8th Doctor has had quite a few audios with River Song. One of these I do have in the Legacy of Time over there on my fantastic shelf. And then, of course, we have the return of Carol Ann Ford as Susan, again, which makes more sense because Susan has had a few audios with the 8th Doctor, and of course, the Doctor gets to meet his great-grandson, Alex, who basically was introduced in an 8th Doctor audio. I did enjoy this one. It's really great. And I don't know what it is, but when you have Tom Baker taking over towards part of the story, where he's there talking about his past selves, and he's like going, oh, yes, they're all here. They're all cheering me on. You know, why I'm doing this. You know, it's just absolutely fantastic the way Tom Baker has that booming voice. You know, it's Tom Baker. But yeah, I loved how he mentions, like, the 1st Doctor, the 2nd Doctor, the 3rd Doctor. I like how he mentions the 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctors. And, of course, the 8th Doctor. I'd like that bit. I really did, but there's not much I can say about it. I really cannot say much about it because I enjoy it. It's definitely one of the best stories, but I think it should have ended here and not go to one of the worst audios. I think is really bad, because this was actually my debut for the Fugitive Doctor, and well as John Crawley as the War Doctor. Luckily, I have got another John Crawley audio to listen to, which I will show you a bit later on. But I'm talking about Coda, the Final Act. This is definitely a New Who story. This is definitely something that's literally come out of Chris Chibnall's mind. The Fugitive Doctor meeting the War Doctor, because these two are secret incarnations that we did not know as a fan. And Joe Martin's debut for this one is really quite good. I did enjoy it. I mean, I need to get more of the Fugitive Doctor stuff, because I have watched another Sci-Fi Guys review, and he absolutely gives it such a good review, which makes me want to go and listen to it. John Crawley as the War Doctor, again, I did enjoy it, but it makes no sense to me why have the Fugitive and the War Doctor in this audio, because I don't know what the hell's going on. Is the Doctor still degenerating at this point? Because it loses track. It does lose track for me for this series. Now, I do like the fact we do have the return of the Voids from the Keys and Marinus. That's the only thing I really enjoyed from that, because it has that Hartnell connection. But damn, this is my introduction to John Crawley as the War Doctor, and I love John Hurt's performance as the War Doctor, so it's just not great. It really ain't, and I'm sorry to say that. But yeah, I mean, as I said for John Crawley, I mean, the fact I haven't got any of his boxes yet, but I have brought Santarans versus Rutons in the name only recently with John Crawley. I mean, I've still got to get the Colin Baker one before Series 2 starts, and I have pre-ordered that one with Joe Martin in it. So that is my next introduction to the Fugitive Doctor for Big Finish. But yeah, Once and Future, it does lose its plot halfway through the series. It just makes no sense to me why 9 and 10 should be there. It just doesn't, because the Doctor's supposed to be degenerating, not regenerating into future incarnations. It's supposed to be degenerating, going in from Hartnell, like, basic to Stephen Noonan, Michael Troughton, Tim Tallor, Tom Baker, Pete Sowers, and Colin Baker's supposed to be calling Paul McGann, and keep going over and over and over and over and over. But yeah, I just don't care for the whole saga. I mean, there are 2 stories I absolutely did enjoy, which is basically A Genius for War and basically past lives. The Unicorn is a good, solid third contender. But the rest of the series, I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not for me. I mean, I would definitely give these another listen to at some point, maybe in another 2-3 years, and maybe my thoughts have changed like them. But again, I just don't connect to it. I don't really connect to it. I mean, the fact that this is supposed to be the Doctor hit by a degenerated weapon, and the fact he ends up generating into future incarnations as well, it just feels like it's lost the plot. It really does. But anyway, let me know what you think of the whole saga of Once and Future from Big Finish. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please do like, subscribe, and share. And stay awesome and stay absolutely fantastic, every single one of you. And stay magnificent.